Welcome to another episode of Vivid Aquariums TV. I'm Dave, and I know it's been almost a month since we brought you a video, but we've made it through Christmas and New Year's. We've also made it through our algae bloom. The tank is looking a lot better, and we're finally ready to add some fish and more corals to the tank. Now, we put that rose bubble tip anemone in one of the last videos, and it started out near the center of the tank, and then proceeded to move almost everywhere throughout the tank, until it ended up kind of right back near the center. It's just behind this rock in the center of the tank now. So we're going to go ahead and introduce a pair of Percula clowns as well as a pair of royal Grammas. We've been acclimating them for about 30 minutes now, so I'm going to go ahead and net them into the aquarium, and hopefully these clowns will host the anemone. Perculas are definitely one of my favorite clownfish. I just love the mixture of orange and black and white. Always thought that they're very good looking clowns. Now we'll get these two royal Grammas. Royal Grammas are a great choice for nano fish. They don't require very big tanks, and they obviously add a lot of good color with the purple and yellow. You don't need to go to the overflow, dude. Alright, so now we're going to take this bucket off, stop our drip acclimation, and then we have a bucket full of nice corals that we're going to add into this aquarium. Alright, now a lot of customers ask me, how do we get a frag off of the frag plug? Because sometimes you don't want to see that frag plug in the tank. So what you do is, you're going to be careful on zoanthids and some corals that are encrusting it. They're not actually grown onto the plug. But in this case they're not. They're on a separate little rock. So what I'm going to do is get the one blade of the cutters so it cuts underneath the rock. The other side will be on the frag disc, and just squeeze gently. Sometimes you have to do a little harder than gentle, and there you go. They fell off very easily. We can mount that in the aquarium separately. Now another option is sometimes you want to just cut the peg off of the plug, in which case most pegs are pretty easy to cut with cutters. Again, just squeeze it and it pops the peg off. Then you have a flat disc to glue into the aquarium. For me in our tank, I'm going to prefer to remove this from the plug itself. So we just pop it off like that. Again, the coral is separated from the plug very easily. Now we can mount this frag directly into the tank. So I'll be doing that for some of our frags. Others we're going to leave the plug on. For instance, this Duncan Coral, I think it's going to be easier to mount using the plug in the position I want. So that's a choice you'll have to make. But let's go ahead and start gluing these into the tank. Now, starting with Warpaint Scolymia, this is Australian Scolymia. I'm going to set this actually just right down low on this rock here. I don't need to glue this one in at this point. Just going to see that it's happy there, and if it does well, I may come back and glue it at some later point. Now, next piece is acan hillae, beautiful green and red. This I'm going to put a little bit of glue on it, and I'm going to mount it in the rock in the back there. So, just put the glue, I'm going to dip it, then use a toothpick to stir up that glue, get it tacky. And then I'm going to put it back in the back corner of the tank right here. Acan hillae is like just a moderate to low light. You just want to smear it on the rock till you get good contact. And I feel now it's starting to get tacky and grab on. So that coral should do very well right there. Let's see, it's starting to grab. There we go. If we leave that, that should mount beautifully right back there. Now, have a couple different montiporas in this tank. One is a grafted cap, beautiful red and green. I guess I should have done that one before Christmas, but we're going to go ahead and put it in now. Again, stirring it up. Now, montipora caps, when you place them in a tank, you want to remember that they will table out and start to shade corals below them. But try not to glue our blenny. I'll see if I can get this to sit right here. This should do really well with some nice flow from the pt10 power head there. And then we have a purple cap, Vivid's ultimate purple cap. I'm going to also find a good spot for that, maybe on the other side here. Sometimes it helps to take a coral and place it in the tank before you glue it and just see if you think that would be a good spot. And this one seems to be good right there, and also I can see where I need to put the glue on the frag plug to get it to stay. we're going to put a little glue along that corner. Dip it to get it activated. I must say that the chemistry in this tank is definitely stabilized now. It's been running over 2 months. You notice that all that ugly algae has gone away. And finally it's time to turn it into a beautiful reef tank and get some life going on in here. Let's see if we can get that to stay right there. There we go. So we got a beautiful cap purple on this side of the table out, grafted one on that side. Now let's go ahead and add a Duncan Coral. Now Duncan likes moderate flow and moderate lighting. And I decided to leave the plug on this one because there's a spot right back in the corner where that plug will sit. And that'll actually help to support the coral. So I'm going to try to get that mounted right back in there. Again, I'm checking the positioning of the coral before I actually glue it into the tank. Stir up that glue bubble and get it thoroughly mixed. And then the idea is once you're gluing it in, to smear that glue bubble against the rock some till you get that glue nice and tacky and get the coral to stay in place where you want it. There you go, beautiful Duncan Coral there. Now we have one of my all-time favorites, which is Space Invader Pectinia. Beautiful green with yellow eyes, but it does require lower lighting and definitely moderate flow, and you got to remember that it has sweeper tentacles which can reach out. So I'm going to walk around the other side of the tank here, just checking out different spots for it that would do well, and try to decide where to put it. I'm thinking right back over here will be a good spot. So let's go ahead and mount it up over there. And we have a couple nice goniopora frags we're going to put in as well today, and some really nice zoanthids. I want to farm some nice zoanthids in this tank, different color varieties. I'm going to get that Space Invader mounted right there beautifully. That looks pretty good, and definitely nice to get some color in the tank finally after 2 months of being patient. This is a nice goniopora. Doesn't look like much when it's closed, but it opens beautifully. You put that right in the front there. Lower light, just moderate flow. That looks great. And I have a red one as well, which I think I'm going to put near it, since gonioporas can be kept near each other. They will not sting each other. It's something you always have to consider is when you're putting corals in the tank is, do they have sweeper tentacles that are going to come out and sting something else? And how long of a reach do they have as well? I'll try to put the Space Invader Pectinia all the way there by itself. Do this red goniopora right here on this branch rock. That'll look beautiful when it opens. Now we have one acan Lord from Australia. We're going to mount that again in lower light area. And we're going to come back and show you some close-ups of these after the tank clears up and we get everything in here. Acans like lower light as well, so they do well down here on a low-lying rock. Put him right there. And now we have a bunch of zoanthids we can put in the tank. These are some vivid nightmares, which will encrust the rock. And put them somewhere lower in the tank too. Right here. Just once you get the glue on, you just need to smear the coral against the rock a little bit, and it doesn't take much for it to stay on. I have some utter chaos zoanthids, a really nice color morph. Let's see if we can get them on down here. Sometimes it's easy to use tweezers for really small frags. Somehow I couldn't find mine this morning, but we'll make it work anyhow. So this rock is really going to become a zoanthid garden. We're going to have red candy apple zoos, utter chaos, nightmares, try to collect all the different varieties and colors that we can find. Now, another thing of using tweezers is you don't get as much glue on your hands. You obviously don't want to transfer the glue onto your coral. It makes it a lot harder for them to open. So, I'm going to take a quick break, change gloves, and we'll come back and mount the rest of the frags.